The night of our housewarming party was meant to be perfect. For weeks, I had imagined this moment, the warmth of friends and family filling our new home, the walls alive with laughter, and Daniel, my husband, by my side, proud of what we had built together. We had worked hard for this house, saved every cent, planned every detail, and now the dream was real. I wanted to remember the glow of this night forever. The living room sparkled with fairy lights strung along the banister, soft music floated through the air, and the scent of roses from the bouquet on the table mingled with the aroma of fresh food. Glasses clinked as people toasted to our new beginning. I wore a deep blue dress that Daniel said made me look like a jewel under the lights, and as I moved through the room, greeting guests, my heart swelled with pride. This was ours, all of it, our new life, our new chapter. Daniel was radiant too. He laughed easily, retelling stories, making everyone feel at home. Every time he caught my eye from across the room, he'd wink or smile, as though to remind me, we did this together. I loved him for that. Then the door opened, and she walked in. Claire, I had heard of her before, of course. She was Daniel's childhood friend, the girl next door he grew up with, the one he had gone to school with, the one who seemed to pop up in his stories now and then. The first time he had mentioned her, I remembered the softness in his voice. Not romantic, just fond. I didn't think much of it at the time. But now, seeing her in person, something stirred uneasily inside me. She was beautiful in a way that was sharp, commanding attention without asking for it. Her dark hair cascaded down her shoulders, framing her face in soft waves, and her eyes, deep, calculating, seemed to take in everything at once. She wore a red dress that clung to her figure, confident, bold, almost daring. Daniel lit up when he saw her. He crossed the room quickly, his arms open wide. Claire, you made it. They hugged, and though it was brief, I couldn't help but notice the familiarity in the way they greeted each other, as though no time had passed between them. They began laughing almost immediately, exchanging inside jokes that left me standing at the edge, smiling politely but feeling invisible. When Daniel introduced me, Claire offered a smile that was polite, but something about it didn't quite reach her eyes. It's wonderful to finally meet you, she said, her tone warm enough, though there was a faint edge I couldn't quite name. As the night went on, the party blurred around me. Guests came and went, drinks were poured, laughter echoed in the halls. Daniel was everywhere, ensuring everyone was comfortable, playing the perfect host. Claire lingered near him often, their conversations flowing easily, their laughter blending together. I tried to push away the flicker of jealousy, it was silly, I told myself. They had known each other since they were kids. Of course they would be close. Still, every time her hand touched his arm, every time their eyes met for a little too long, something inside me tightened. I shook it off, forcing myself to engage with other guests, to smile, to pretend everything was as perfect as I wanted it to be. By the time the crowd thinned and only a few guests remained, I was exhausted. My cheeks hurt from smiling, and yet my mind buzzed with unease. That's when Claire found me. She cornered me near the kitchen, her eyes glinting with something unreadable. Can I talk to you for a moment? She asked, her voice low. I hesitated. Of course. We stepped aside into the quieter hallway. For a moment, she studied me in silence, as though she were deciding whether or not to speak. The air felt suddenly heavy, pressing in on me. I need to tell you something, she began, her voice steady but laced with tension. I forced a small smile, expecting her to share some funny childhood story about Daniel. Okay. Her gaze never wavered from mine. Daniel and we slept together once. The words slammed into me like a physical blow. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My ears rang, drowning out the muffled sounds of the party behind us. I stared at her, waiting for her to laugh, to tell me it was some kind of cruel joke. But her expression was unflinching, her eyes sharp and steady, like she had been waiting for this exact moment. I don't understand, I managed, my voice barely above a whisper. It was years ago, she continued, her tone even, almost casual. Before you came along. But it happened, and I thought you deserved to know before you build your life with him. My chest tightened painfully, my throat dry. Why are you telling me this now? Tonight of all nights. Her lips curved into the faintest smile, almost imperceptible. Because secrets have a way of coming out. And I wouldn't want you to live a lie. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to run into the living room and confront Daniel in front of everyone. But instead, I stood frozen, my mind spinning. Claire stepped closer, lowering her voice further. You seem like a good woman. You deserve honesty. Daniel, he's not always as perfect as he seems. Her words slithered into my heart, planting seeds of doubt. I wanted to reject them, to trust the man I loved, but the conviction in her tone, the calmness in her eyes, made me falter. I glanced toward the living room. There was Daniel, laughing with his cousin, his face lit with joy, utterly unaware that the foundation of my trust had just been shattered. Claire's gaze followed mine, and when she looked back at me, I saw something flicker in her eyes, satisfaction. That was when I realized I couldn't stay. Not in that house, not in that room, not with her words echoing in my head. Without another word, I turned, grabbed my coat from the rack, and walked out the front door. The night air hit me, cool and sharp, but it didn't clear my mind. I walked faster, my heels clicking against the pavement, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out every thought. Behind me, the party continued, oblivious. I didn't know where I was going. I only knew I couldn't breathe inside that house anymore. And yet, as I disappeared into the night, one question haunted me, twisting deep into my chest. If Claire truly wanted to protect me, why did she look so pleased when she told me? The hotel room felt like a cold refuge, its beige walls and stiff sheets offering no comfort. I lay awake all night, staring at the ceiling, Claire's words replaying endlessly in my head. Daniel and we slept together once. It rang like a bell I couldn't silence, each repetition striking harder, echoing until I doubted everything I thought I knew. By morning, my phone was flooded with calls and messages. Daniel's name lit up the screen again and again. Where are you? Why did you leave? Please talk to me. I'm worried. His desperation should have softened me, but all I felt was a gnawing ache. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Claire's face, that slight smile of satisfaction when she delivered the confession. It wasn't just what she said, it was the way she said it. I couldn't hide forever. At some point, I would need to face him, to hear his truth, to decide if the life we were building had just collapsed under the weight of a single revelation. By afternoon, I gathered my courage and drove back to the house. The fairy lights were still strung along the banister, the remnants of the party scattered in the living room, half-empty glasses, crumpled napkins, the faint scent of wine and perfume still lingering in the air. It all looked so different now, tainted somehow, like the ghost of a celebration that had soured overnight. Daniel was waiting for me. The moment I stepped through the door, he rushed forward, his face drawn with exhaustion, his eyes red from lack of sleep. Thank God, he breathed. I thought something happened to you. I held up a hand, keeping distance between us. Don't. Just tell me the truth. His brows furrowed. What truth? Claire told me everything. The words sliced the air between us, sharp and heavy. His expression faltered. He froze, searching my face for clues, his chest rising and falling unevenly. Finally, he exhaled, his voice trembling. Yes, it's true. Years ago, before you. Before us. It was one night. It didn't mean anything. The admission stung even though I had prepared myself for it. My knees wobbled, and I leaned against the edge of the couch for support. And you didn't think I deserved to know. I didn't tell you because it was nothing. It was a mistake. I didn't want to hurt you with something that had no relevance to us. His voice cracked with urgency. I love you. That's all that matters. I wanted to believe him. Part of me did, but another part, the part poisoned by Claire's calculated delivery, kept whispering, he hid it once, what else could he hide? Why did she tell me now? I asked, my voice low but firm. Daniel's jaw tightened. Because she's not over me. The words made me blink, my heart skipping a beat. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. Claire, she confessed feelings for me years after that night. I turned her down, told her I didn't feel the same, that we were just friends. But she never really let go. She's been messaging me more lately, hinting at the past, trying to bring it up. I ignored it because I didn't want to stir trouble. But she's obsessed with the idea of us. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. The pieces began to fit together. The sly smile, the deliberate timing, the satisfaction in her eyes when she told me. She hadn't wanted to protect me. She had wanted to wound me, to wedge herself between us. She wanted to ruin us, Daniel whispered, echoing my thoughts. Before I could answer, a sharp knock echoed through the house. It was slow, deliberate, almost theatrical. We exchanged a look, dread prickling in the silence. Daniel went to the door, and when he opened it, Claire stood there. Her eyes glittered as though she'd been waiting for this exact moment. "Did you tell her?" she asked softly, stepping past him without an invitation. "Yes," Daniel snapped, his voice hard. "And now you need to leave." She laughed, a low, cold sound that filled the room like smoke. "You think it's that simple? You think she'll ever trust you again?" Her gaze shifted to me, locking onto mine with unnerving intensity. "Every time he touches you, every time he whispers he loves you, you'll wonder if he's thinking of me. That doubt will eat you alive." Her words slithered into the room like poison. I clenched my fists, refusing to let her see me tremble. Daniel's face flushed with fury. "Enough, Claire. Whatever happened between us is over. It was years ago, and it meant nothing. You don't belong in our life anymore." She tilted her head, studying him. "Over? You really think so? You can't erase me. I was here before her. I know the parts of you she'll never understand." Something snapped in me then. My voice rose, steady despite the storm inside me. "Why are you really here, Claire? To remind him of one night that meant nothing to him but everything to you? Or to make sure I never feel safe with him again?" Her smile faltered, just slightly, but enough to reveal the truth. This wasn't about honesty or fairness. It was about power. "You're right," she said finally, her tone icy. "I came because I wanted you to know what kind of man you married. And now you do." She turned her gaze to Daniel, her eyes dark with something that felt almost unhinged. "But don't fool yourself. She'll never look at you the same way again. I've seen to that." Silence filled the room, heavy and suffocating. I could hear the faint hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, the distant ticking of the clock on the wall, even the sound of my own shallow breaths. Daniel stepped forward, his voice firm but shaking with anger. "Get out, Claire. Don't come back." She smirked, as though she had already won, and walked slowly to the door. Just before leaving, she looked over her shoulder at me. "You'll see. Doubt has a way of destroying more than truth ever could." Then she was gone. The door clicked shut, but the echoes of her presence lingered like a shadow across the room. I stood there, my body rigid, my mind spinning. Daniel turned to me, his eyes pleading. "Please," he whispered, "don't let her ruin us. Don't let her win." I wanted to believe him, to step into his arms and let the warmth of his love wash away the poison Claire had dripped into my heart. But her words lingered, gnawing at me. "Every time he touches you, you'll wonder if he's thinking of me." That was the real betrayal, not just what happened years ago, but the seed of doubt she had planted. And I knew, deep down, that Claire wasn't finished. The gleam in her eyes told me this was only the beginning of a dangerous game. For the first time since the party, I realized the suspense wasn't about whether Daniel had betrayed me once, it was about how far Claire was willing to go to destroy us. And the look she gave me before walking out made one thing chillingly clear: she wasn't going to stop until she succeeded.